Hey there, Tiffany Thomas with wealthytiffany.com, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about making money versus saving money. And before we dive in, if you are ready for financial freedom right now, comment freedom below in the comments, or if you have another random comment that you want to put in the comments to help out the YouTube algorithm, please do that. All right, you guys, let's dive in and talk about which is more important. Is it making money or is it saving money? Because I know a lot of people have varying opinions on this. So let's just talk about making money for a minute. Making money is definitely important. We want to make sure we're making enough money to cover our expenses, plus some, so that we can do some fun things and we're not just working to cover basic expenses or basic needs. We're actually working to live a more fulfilling and happier life because, we don't want to just focus so much on the expenses. That's not really fun and it stresses people out. Sometimes we're making money to pay off debt. Maybe we've gone to school and we have school loans that we need to pay off, or we've purchased a car that we need to pay off our car loan, or even a house that we need to pay off our mortgage. So there's, different things that we need to have money for. So we need to make sure that we're making enough money, and we want to make sure that we are increasing our salary over time. And whether that's a 9-to-5 job or if you're working for yourself, if you are an entrepreneur or you have your own business, you want to make sure that you're increasing that because, of course, we know inflation happens every year. And that goes up about 3% every year. So we want to make sure that our salary is at least going up 3% each year, if not more, to keep up with inflation. And while we're talking about inflation, let's switch over and talk about saving our money for a minute, because saving our money is important as well. And we want to make sure that we are saving some money for an emergency fund or a rainy day fund, whatever you want to call it. But we need to be putting money aside so that we have something in the bank. If you want to keep it in the bank, I'd recommend an online bank. I personally use Ally, A-L-L-Y. They have definitely a higher interest rate that they're paying on their savings account than just a brick and mortar bank. So there's a lot of online banks you can use, but I would definitely keep it in an online bank, keep your savings in an online bank because they will pay you a little bit more interest than your typical brick and mortar bank. But we want to make sure that we are saving our money so that when we do have some unexpected expense, some emergency that happens, that we can take care of that without going into debt, without putting it on our credit card and paying it off over time. So we really want that buffer. We want to have that savings because not only, will it help us pay off some emergency that happens. Maybe you get a flat tire, you have to replace that tire, or something else goes wrong on your car and you have to replace that. Or if you own your own place, maybe your furnace goes out, or your washing machine, you have to replace it. There's a whole number of things that could happen, right? Or maybe you're in an auto accident and you have to pay your deductible for your auto insurance. There's just a whole number of things. So we want to make sure that we are saving some money. And I know a lot of people recommend having 3 to 6 months in a savings account, even up to a year. And I feel like it really depends on you. It depends on the person. The way I like to look at savings is, okay, how much am I really going to need if an emergency occurs, right? If something does go wrong with my car or one of my properties. And how easily do I have access to cash? And this isn't just physical cash, like dollar bills, but, do I have access to money right away if something happened, if there was an emergency? So for example, if I did have to replace a washer in one of my rental properties, I could go out and buy a new washer, pay for that with a credit card, and I would have about 30 days depending on when the due date is for the credit card and what their grace period is. But I would have maybe about 30 days to pay off that credit card, to pay for the washer. So I'm thinking, okay, well, if I have that extra 30 days and I can put it on my credit card, then hopefully I could make enough within that 30 days to pay for the washer. And if I couldn't, then I could have some money in my savings account, so I could pull that out and pay that off when the credit card was due. Or even if I wanted to take some money out of my investment accounts, I have a brokerage account, so maybe I could pull out some money to pay for the washer on that. Maybe there's some dividends that have come in that I could pull out, or even sell one of my stocks. But I kind of look at different ways that I have access to cash instead of just leaving my money sitting in a savings account, because it's not working for me if it's just sitting in a savings account, right? It's getting maybe 2% interest depending on your savings account. And like we talked about earlier, inflation is at 3%. So I'm not even earning enough to keep up with inflation by leaving my money in there. So I like to look at it as, how can I have as much money working for me as possible? And this brings me to my next point. So I know we're talking about, is making money more important than saving money? And actually, it's neither of those. It's how can we make our money work for us? It's actually what we are doing with that money that we've made or with that money that we've saved, and making it work for us so that we can stop working for money all of the time. So I really want you to think about this mindset shift. And yes, it's important to make money, to make as much as possible without ruining your life or being so stressed about having to work all the time or things like that. But yeah, it's important to make money, and it's also important to save money, to have that buffer, have that emergency fund available. But it's really important to make your money work for you. We can't just leave it sitting in savings, or if we increase our salary, we can't just continue to spend that money on frivolous things. We really need to focus in on making our money work for us. We want to put it in different types of investments. And that can be in the real estate market. I love investing in real estate. Or it could be even in the stock market. You can invest in index funds. That's very easy to do. Or there are other ways to make your money work for you. And I just did a video recently about creating passive income. So, I've created my own online business, and there were a few costs to get that started. It's not super expensive, but I did invest money in order to do that because I know it will pay off over time. Once I build up this business, it can become more and more passive, and I can create that passive income from that initial investment that I made in my business. And there's other things you can do. You can invest in other companies. Maybe if your friend has a startup company and he needs an investor to get it going, and you want to make sure that it's something that you feel good about, that you've done your homework and research on, and not just randomly giving people money. But if it's something that you feel is going to be a good investment, then you can put your money toward that. And you can also put your money toward educating yourself. I read a ton of books all the time and listen to a ton of books all the time. I love Audible. Anyway, I have a ton of books on there, and I go to the library. I have the library app, and I download a lot of books onto the library app. And a lot of them are self-development, self-improvement books. So you can invest your money in making yourself a better person, in your own education. And that could also include, a formal education, or even taking some courses that you are interested in and that can help you grow your income, right? But you're making that investment into the education side of things so that you can increase your income and then put that toward something that's going to make your money work for you. So I just wanted to bring up this point, yes, it's important to make money. We want to continue to increase what we're making without sacrificing our health or our happiness in order to do that. And we want to have that emergency fund, but we don't want a huge emergency fund because, if you're taking a look at what type of emergencies might come up for you, you can really keep as little money as you feel comfortable in a savings account, and you can invest the rest of your money, right? You can take care of your expenses and, of course, have some fun, but you can definitely invest your money, get it working for you. And the sooner you do that, the better off you will be, because that money will continue to compound over time. I'm sure you've heard of compound interest. So you're making money on the money you've put in there plus the interest that it's earning in that account if you are investing in the stock market, for example. Just think of different ways that you can make your money work for you and start thinking about the return on investment you're getting when you're spending your money. Sometimes we spend our money without really thinking about it. We're not spending our money consciously. And I really want you to take a step back and start spending your money consciously. Make that extra effort when you pull out your credit card or pull out some cash. Think for a second, is this money being spent well? Is it a good return on my investment, or am I going to regret this later? Or will I not even really care about this later? Should I be putting my money elsewhere that would better serve me, that would be more beneficial for me or for my family, or even my friends, or a charity that you are passionate about? It can be a whole variety of things. But just start to make that extra effort of, really being conscious about what you're spending your money on and where you're putting your money. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and if you did, please hit the like button and share it with someone else who needs to hear this information. And put in the comments below if you are going to start spending your money consciously and putting it towards something that's going to make your money work for you. I would love to know what you're investing in or what you're going to be investing in. And please hit the subscribe button to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That would really help me out. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks!